And it says we are live. I'm here. It's Thursday night. You're beautiful. That must mean it's time for GotBot Goes Live. I, of course, am your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, a.k.a. GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe. And while you are at it, light them up, baby. Hit the notification bell. That was a sad one. Let's try that again. There you go. Hit the notification bell. It lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. It helps me out a ton. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that in the description down below. Also in the description down below. And if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring. Or, of course, hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. While you're at it, hit the subscribe button. Stick around, man. Have some fun with us here on the channel. So we have a bunch of things tonight to talk about. Of course, there were a ton of reveals, and I'm going to just mention this now that we're going to see it later. This is my Slug Slinger. My Slug Slinger is the one that came out in Titan's Return when it was released back then. I ended up during Siege buying Caliburst to go with him, even though his head is also called Caliburst. The gold that's on his chest is custom painted by me to be more reminiscent of the look that he had in the Headmaster series. And this, though it's the Hasbro release, is more similar to the lighter shades of color depicted in the Headmaster series. That said, the actual Takara version of this came with a version of Caliburst, not this, but like one of their own molds, like maybe an Arms Micron version of it or something. And oddly, the pelvis of that one is the Misfire pelvis, not the Slug Slinger pelvis. It's really weird. And that shade of blue is a little more sky blue, I suppose. But it has the gold on the chest because that sky blue and the gold on the chest is the way he looked in Headmasters. This is actually more toy accurate. Now, the new one that's going to be coming out in the Amazon 2-pack is more G1 North American cartoon accurate with the deeper colors. In an ideal world, what I would really like to do is find someone who is like into toy accuracy. And me being a cartoonist king guy, I'd almost be like to trade this guy, not him. I want to keep my Caliburst, but trade this guy for the 2-pack. But I don't really want the 2-pack. We'll talk about it more when we get there. But I wanted to kind of explain this guy a little bit since he's in the thumbnail for those that might not be aware of what he looked like when he first came out in Titan's Return. Excellent mold that a lot of people missed. It was in the last wave of Titan's Return. I saw it exactly once in stock at Toys R Us, and that was it. Saw it one time, and I got it. So I'm really, really glad that he's getting a reissue, and I kind of think Misfire deserves one too. Anyway, we'll talk about it when we get to it. Hope you guys are having a great Thursday. Like I said, we have a lot to kind of cover. I'm going to, I guess, mention this now, and we'll kind of go through it now because it's just easier than going through it when we have to go through the news later on. And it is highlights from the Mark Maher interview that he did with TFW 2005. By the way, this summer will mark 20 years for that particular Transformers news website, starting, of course, in 2005, right? So it's just one of those worth noting. But that's where the interview came from. Some interesting highlights, and I'll talk about it before we get into the actual news. Well, no, that's news, but there's no picture or anything to go with that. There's nothing really to show to go with that, right? So let's just check in with you guys, then I'll go through the highlights of that, my thoughts about that, whether you read it or saw that interview or not. Hey, Waspinator. Hey, Daryl. Hey, Lion Dragonfly. Hey, Matt. Time for Weed Transformer chats. I mean, could it be a better way to spend a Thursday night, right? Hey, Blue Star Marcus. Hey, Ash. As I go down there a little bit. On the road to BotCon. Enjoy. Oh, Ash, I said hi before I read it. Oh, man. What a perfect way to head to BotCon. Getting caught up on all the news. Wow. I envy you, my man. I got to go to work tomorrow. And we're just getting into final exams. So That starts tomorrow. I would trade it for BotCon, I promise you. Hey, Albert. Misfire is the only one who really needed a reissue, the absolute most. See, I don't agree. I saw Misfire tons of times. I don't know why people had such a tough time getting him. I saw him loads of times. I saw Trigger Happy loads of times, but I only saw Slugslinger once. Funny enough, though, a lot of people would agree with you, Matt, and say Misfire desperately needs a reissue. And I'm not going to argue it. Yeah, I agree. He probably does. Honestly, he probably does. Though I saw a lot of him. I also saw a lot of the like War for Cybertron Netflix Soundwave. Like everybody said that was hard to get. I saw that restocked at least 4 times. Like I don't know why it was hard to get. Funny enough, though, in that same line, never ever, not once did I see the Sparkless Seeker, even though I managed to get one sourced from Nova Scotia. Just speaks to distribution, you know? It just speaks to distribution. I'm glad Slug Slinger is getting a reissue, but I do agree, though it was fairly abundant here, I do agree that Misfire absolutely should get one as well. But we'll talk about that a little bit more when we get to that. But you're not wrong. My experience is that he was abundant, but you're not wrong. I ordered the 2-pack only for the Sandstorm. I'm going to sell off the other one and sell off the Mask Sandstorm. That's fair. I mean, you could totally do that too. I mean, same with the Sandstorm. Like if somebody was a toy accurate person and they were like, I'd get the 2-pack, but that's cartoon accurate. I'm toy accurate. Like, I don't think I'm going to buy the 2-pack and then try and sell these 2 off. But if I knew someone that was buying the 2-pack and wanted toy accuracy, I would gladly trade both of mine with them. I don't know if I care about it enough. We'll talk about it when we get there. I don't know if I care about it enough to buy the 2-pack, but we'll talk about it when we get there. I'm going back to order Mayhem Attack Squad 2-pack. Going back to order Mayhem Attack Squad 2-packs. Oh, yeah. Nothing wrong with going back and ordering them, especially the Insecticons. I'm just saying we got a Venom coming up that we're going to talk about in a bit. Yeah, over the next week. Well, over the next week, Daryl, it'll be all my usual stuff plus exam duty. I got 4 exam duties, so it is what it is. Socials, French, study hall, and then hall duty on top of like my normal stuff. But you know what? End of the year is almost here, so I really can't complain. And you know what? I'm really lucky. I love my job. I love my staff. Love my students. They're great. I saw the Netflix Soundwave quite a bit. Yeah, terrible distribution. Hey, Blue, can't be here long, but I hope everything is going. Have a great Father's Day. And you know what? I'll say that. Good point, Blue. Good point. To all of you watching, anybody who watches this after the fact, of course, we're going into Father's Day. We're going to have a tremendous Father's Day. I hope that, I hope you get spoiled. Actually picked up a G1 Sandstorm yesterday. You did. That's true. Howdy. This says Francis. Hi, Francis. Happy you're here, buddy. As I go down here just a little bit. Never found Misfire or Trigger Happy. Interesting. See, they were so abundant here. And you know what? If you're going to do 2 of them, you might as well do the third one. You might as well do a Trigger Happy again as well. You know? It's the same thing with the cone heads. Like, is anybody going to say we shouldn't have a Thrust reissued? I mean, I have them, so I don't need him reissued. But I absolutely think he needs to be because so many people missed him. Hey, Master Far. Hey, Manitoba. They're hoping they fix the chest issue on what? They're hoping they fix the chest issue on Sandstorm. He had a chest issue? I don't know of this chest issue. What's the chest issue? Triple Takeover pack came in. The cartoon colors look a lot nicer on Astro Train and Blitzwing. I know somebody who got that as well, Francis, and they were happy with it too. I find the gray on the chunks behind Blitzwing really off-putting though. I don't know why they're gray. Why are they gray? Not to get political, but anybody hearing what's going on in LA? Absolutely, yes. And we're not going to talk about it because I've talked that situation to death. Shouldn't be happening. Hey, Matthew, I've been trying to sell some of my older figures, but no one wants to give me a good deal. It depends on what you call a good deal. You know, I mean, depends on what you call a good deal. I wouldn't overpay for old. I'm sorry. Like I've said it before, I'll say it again. They're toys. They don't appreciate in value. Though people try to pretend they do and, you know, seek crazy amounts of money, they don't. Like, I'll give you an example of something that was sent to me today. Locally, someone is selling their Hasbro HasLab, apparently, it's on Facebook Marketplace, so take that with a grain of salt. Their HasLab Omega Prime for 500 Canadian. And honestly, that's not an outrageous price. It's not even a crazy overprice on it. I know a lot of you guys say, what? 500? That's a lot. But it was 250 US to begin with. You got to do the conversion and then add taxes and then add shipping to Canada. The guy probably marked up maybe $50. To me, that's not scalping. To me, that's, yeah, I get it. You're probably trying to make a 50 off it. If you even marked it up that much, I feel like that's a reasonable price. Like that's a reasonable deal for what the product is. Now, if that same guy was trying to sell it for $1,000, $1,200, I'd be saying, well, he's scalping it, right? Like he's deliberately overcharging just to take advantage of the consumer. By the way, in case you don't understand, that's what scalping is. Or at least that's part of what scalping is, even though a lot of people will say it's not what it is. Usually scalpers will say that's not what it is. So you're saying you don't want a good, they're not giving you a good deal for it. I can believe it because people will always under offer and try and undercut, but it also depends on what you're asking. So that's a kind of a loaded comment that I don't really feel equipped to actually answer. All I will say is, Matthew, I hope you manage to offload whatever it is you're trying to offload. Hey, Super Robot Ed, I have the Titans Return, I have the Titans Return and Legends version of Slug Slinger, so I'm good. The Sandstone repaint is very disappointing. We'll talk about it when we get there. It always surprised me that they can't post images in these chats. I know. I wish Hasbro would use the Takara Target Master molds. Yes, they exist. Why wouldn't you do that? I don't know. It didn't tab on. Well, mine tabs on fine, Marcus. I don't know. Anyway, hopefully they got it fixed. I guess I haven't heard anybody say anything about that, but maybe it was on that live stream thing. I don't know. Maybe. I heard the Legacy Sandstorm chest doesn't hold in place too. Mine does. I mean, yeah, mine does. I don't know. It's not a bad price. It's just a price that's of not of any value to you, and that's fair too. That's why I think also they wouldn't take the time to correct the issue. Like I wouldn't have bought the original at that price either. That's fair. A Toy and Comic Shop. Toy and Comic Shop only wanted to give me $30 for 4 figures, including a Masterpiece Starscream. Well, that's the way comic shops are. Comic shops and pawn shops, they're gonna undercut 100%. I mean, you could probably try selling it privately, I guess. I was disappointed by my Cronus. I felt like he's a Legends level figure, and the only redeeming part is the suit. Yeah, again, we'll talk about that when we get there too. If they used the Takara Legend Slug Slinger with his Target Master, I'd be a lot more tempted to buy the 2-pack. Fair enough, same. What will it take to get Age of the Prime Striker? Oh, I don't know. I'd like a Striker, though. Wow, a Striker. Deep cut there in the Beast Machines. I'd love it. I must have got lucky. No, I didn't have an issue really with mine either. A little bit. Now that you say it, I kind of vaguely remember it, and I think mine, like, ever so slightly might, but like nothing worth talking about. Like I manipulate him and move him around, and his chest stays on fine on mine. I don't know. But if a bunch of people have heard it, I guess maybe it wasn't an issue. I don't know. Anyway, let's get into what I was going to talk about there. My uncle from Texas or Long Beach, not sure where, but he had Masterpiece Starscream. Oh, yeah. There was lots of Masterpiece Starscreams around. So Mark Maher done this interview. A number of things came up, some of it interesting. He said, for example, that when asked about Primus, because a lot of people that have the HasLab Unicron have questioned about Primus. When asked about Primus, he said that he would kind of see Primus as smaller than Unicron. He always likes the underdog story. I would think if they're going to do a Primus, they would probably do it as a Titan rather than a HasLab, especially since the HasLab Unicron did fail, and then they extended it, and then it failed again, and then they extended it, and then it was a success. So it really struggled to get funded, and with the prices for things going up a lot more, I think it would be prohibitive now. So I think it's more realistic. And probably Mark Maher thinks the same thing to say, hey, it might be a Titan, something a little smaller than the HasLab one. I don't know if there's any truth to that or if I'm just reading into his answer, but that's what that's what he said. He sees Primus as smaller because he likes the underdog story. The Arisen, the 13th Prime. He said he originally saw him as like a Voyager God Prime, but they were doing Star Convoy or Star Optimus Prime as the Titan. Well, since the 13th Arisen, the mysterious 13, is actually a version of Optimus Prime, since Star Convoy is like the ultimate iteration of Optimus Prime. Why not go with him? But I mean, if you want to use your 86, if you want to use your Earthrise, your Siege, your Transformers Prime, it doesn't matter. The 13th is Optimus Prime. It's just, he went back to being Orion Pax, right? So interesting that he envisioned that first as a Voyager. The Liege Maximo is going to be, the design is primarily going to be the comic book, the G2 comic book. I think it was G2 comic book edition, which is a heck of a design. Very sinister with those big horns and stuff. How they'll pull that off to look like the comic and I guess give it some semblance of an alt mode of some sort, I don't know, but I'm intrigued. He did say that he sees the Liege Maximo as well as a leader class offering bigger than Megatronus. He doesn't see him as a commander class or something, but as another leader class offering bigger than Megatronus. I like hearing that. Yes, give us a size class that's bigger than one that's already an excellent version of that size class. He said as well that, I thought this was interesting. He's backtracking on the no retools. He said, I don't remember saying that. He absolutely did say that it is common knowledge that it was said that the primes will only be the primes. I feel like he's going to backtrack on it now because they probably found some other uses and they're going to reuse those molds, but I hope not, because I find that troubling. Because what that says to me is, do you not know what you're saying when you say it? Or did you lie the first time around? To me, that questions either your ethics or your competency. And I don't like that. That's a big deal because one of the reasons that I said Megatronus had the value he had is because he's going to be a single-use mold. You take that out of it, and he's a little light then for a true blue leader class offering. Because now you're saying, well, he's going to be reused. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to come of that. I hope that they stick to what they said. And maybe it was Evan Brooks who said it. I'm not sure. But it's common knowledge, and Mark Maher should know that. He was asked about including other primes. When we talk about other primes, we're not talking about the 13. We're talking kind of about that lineage that has had, like, the Matrix in the chest. We're talking about your Novas, your Sentinels, your Zetas, your Nominuses. Okay, Nominus was fake. But you get the idea. Your Optimuses, your Rodimuses, right? And he said, there is an opportunity here, maybe as exclusives for things like Sentinel or like Logos Prime. Right now, I use the Sound Blaster from the Netflix series, the like black one, as my version of Logos Prime. He was asked about Lugnut. He figures that a leader class Lugnut would work for what they would like to accomplish with the character. He was asked about more multi-packs for cartoon decos, like was done with the version that had the Hound in it with the more cartoon accurate repaints. He said, sure, why not? Then don't put them out individually, or put them out with those colorations first. I didn't like hearing that. I didn't like hearing how flippant he was with that. He gets on my nerves. I'm just going to say Mark Maher bugs me. I don't like his attitude. I think he's very fake. He was asked about a Super Megatron. He said, not sure, but he does love Megatron. More Commanders and Titans in a year. That was asked. I don't know who would afford more Commanders and Titans in a year, but he just kind of brushed it off as like, see what the fans say. Is Star Convoy going to be the new, kind of going standard for Titan class because he's much smaller, much cheaper, and it's like I said last week, he's really more Supreme class. He said not sure yet. I think that they may very well go that route. He was asked about the DJD and doing those, and he said, would you do them with alternate modes because of what their alt modes are? Or would you do them with something different? He said, yeah, I guess, but really that wouldn't please fans. Fans would want to see them accurate. I don't know how he would accomplish that. I guess it would have to be through, I don't know, Pulse. It would have to be some exclusive capsule or something, I think, to pull off some of those torture devices. Though, it's nice to know that it's in the thought processes. He was asked about animated Omega Supreme, and he said he'd like to see a Titan of it. He did have kind of a workup done using the Arc, but he didn't think that it was good enough. He said it would have to be a whole new design. Probably fans have been asking for it for a long time, so I could see an animated Omega being done at some juncture. He didn't say that last part. I am. He was asked about Beast Wars. Of course, there's an anniversary coming up for that, isn't it? Yes, next year is going to be an anniversary for Beast Wars starting in 96. 16. That's right, 26. It'll be the 30th anniversary of Beast Wars. He was asked about it, and basically he was very non-committal, but he did talk about how he'd like to see some other, I guess, characters done, like Depth Charge, but he mentioned the challenge of the Vac Metal. Yet again, we talked about that last week. Now, I think there will be some stuff for the anniversary, as there is a Predacon pack that's coming. I gotta believe that's going to be related to the 30th anniversary of Beast Wars. And that was one of the leaks for 2026, 2027 from last week's news, was a Beast Wars multi-pack, or a Predacon multi-pack, I'm sorry. He was asked about an exclusive Beast Wars line. He was a little shady on the answer to that. He was asked about a more accurate RID Scourge. I get it. The RID Scourge that came out in the Velocitron Speedia series is like, it's okay, it's Scourge, but it's not quite colored right. He said everything is on the table. That's his go-to answer. I think a lot of people would like something bigger, beefier there, maybe colored accurately, to kind of really stand up against the HasLab Omega Prime Optimus, right? The current one, again, would be small next to that Optimus. So I get where people are coming from with it. But he didn't really give a committal answer there. He was asked about Ruination from the Bruticus. He said fans seem to want it, or no, everyone wants it. I don't know where he's getting it from. I haven't heard anybody talking about it, but a Ruination seems like a great way to go. Could be that Selects combiner that we didn't know what it was, that was in those leaked listings. That could be a Ruination. I could believe it. That would be ripe for the Selects line. More movie accurate G2 Megatron. He just said he loves Megatron. He loved painting the tiger stripes on the Combat Hero version. So he didn't really answer it, but okay. Commander Class Armada Jetfire, right? If you're going to do Armada Jetfire, to go with the Armada Prime, got to be Commander Class to be proper, really. He seems very excited about the idea of possibly revisiting Machine Wars. He was asked about mini-cons. He said, we're figuring that out now. Again, I believe that there was a mini-con pack that was going to be with someone. Was it the Red Alert mini-con pack? Which I thought was weird. Why? Like, I know we have an Armada Red Alert, but why would you call it the Red Alert Minicon pack? So I don't know what that means, but I think there's a Minicon pack coming. So he said we're figuring out how to release the Minicons. He was asked about a zombie Transformers Prime Cliff Jumper. He said he's actually pitched that recently because, of course, they done the Cliff Jumper mold in that multi-pack last year. It is a reuse of the Legacy United Chase. I guess you could do that with a new head and some purple detailing and stuff to be a zombie Cliff. What else do we have? He was asked about another use of the Galvatron mold. He said, I think the Galvatron we got kind of hit everything, and now we've sort of done all the colorations that people could want. Like, I'm kind of done with that. He did say it would be interesting to revisit a deluxe a deluxe Galvatron tank again, just for fun, because we all know how that Universe Galvatron tank turned out, don't we? Nothing great there. He was asked if he likes and would like to see more of the G1-ified movie characters in the main line. Loves the idea. He wants to see more. Kind of like was done with Barricade, for example, being a deluxe police car in the Dominus Pursuit Galactic Odyssey set. Really, the only time he's been in police cars in the films, right? He was a Micromaster and a race car and a brutal one at that. So doing a full deluxe police car, in a G1 style. Yeah. So he'd like to see more of that. Blackout's name was mentioned by the interviewer. What else do we have here? He talked about the frame that's used for combiners now and praised it for how excellent the articulation is and the stability. I know a lot of people liked it with Menasor. I found it to be trash until I had the DNA design set was on. It was far too top heavy. He just tipped over anytime I tried to do anything with him. But if you find it really good and you find it better, then bless your heart, go with the Age of the Primes ones. Nothing wrong with it. I have the Combiner Wars ones and I like it. But, and I've said this before, for the love of God, if you know that there's a new combiner coming out, like a Superion or like a Bruticus, if you were in on the Menasor, don't go backwards. Don't go back 10 years to Combiner Wars. Because, those prices, now people have asked silly prices for them and stuff. Like, stick with what you're doing, Stick with what you're doing because it'll be fine in the end, too. I do think it's cool that we have now, I think, good versions, because I think Combiner Wars was excellent. I think we have good versions of a more traditional method of combining with like the limbs and stuff being limbs. And I think for people that like this whole frame design, it's cool that these same characters are also becoming available with that design. So which one kind of fills your boat? Which one speaks to you? Do you prefer like kind of a more traditional type of combining method, or do you prefer the frame? Because now we're starting to get options for both, right? I think that is cool. He was asked, does he wanted to redo Predaking? And he said, yes, I would like Predaking redone too. Yeah. I have the Unique Toys Warlord, but his stability is something to be desired. Sometimes you got to be creative with how you pose him. Great individually, but a couple places could have used ratchets, I think, for the combined mode. The hips, rest of it's okay. The hips. So I wouldn't argue about a new Predaking. What else do we have here? He was also asked about Micromaster combiners. He said, I haven't considered those, so I guess they're not coming soon, but I would like Micromaster combiners too. No impending mainline Raiden. What a disappointment. He said it's not something that's on his radar that he has an interest in now. I think that's really disappointing because I don't think the MP one is for everyone. Certainly price prohibitive for many. Price prohibitive for me for what I'm willing to spend on it. But I'd love a mainline Raiden. I'm really disappointed that he doesn't have it on his radar. I gotta say. He likes the made-to-order type of stuff. I don't. I think that's terrible. Just make the stuff and put it out if you're confident. Plus, some of the made-to-order stuff, you're waiting forever for it, and then it comes and you got issues with it, like with the Omega Prime. I don't want to go through 2 years of dealing with Hasbro's bullshit, pardon my language, because they didn't make something right, or they had to do it, made to order, so you got to wait for it to be made. No, just make the bloody thing and put it out. Core, that could still be on the table, even though we don't have any right now. You never know. Core could make a comeback. Core class, I'm talking about, right? He was asked about accessory packs. I do agree with this. I like this idea. He said, yeah, accessory packs are great. We'd like to do some that include flight stands. Yeah, I don't know jack about flight stands, but I'd be down for that. And finally, he was asked kind of like one character, like that you really, really want. And he said Thunderwing. I think a lot of people want a Thunderwing. So that's kind of some highlights from the interview. But I find him a very jarring human being. I struggle. I mean, it's not a personal gripe or anything. Some people just rub each other the wrong way or whatever. And maybe he's the nicest guy. Maybe he is sincere, but he doesn't come off as it. He comes off as non-committal in answers. He comes off as very fake with his enthusiasm. It just, I don't know. I don't like a lot of these guys. I don't have the patience for Evan. B-Mac got on my nerves. Warden is the biggest corporate shill that there ever was before he got let go. I don't know. I'm not a corporate shill guy, I guess. I don't know. I can't watch this stuff, but I like the highlights. So there you go. I'm going to, before I check in with you guys, let's get to some fun stuff. And I'm going to begin to share this. And we're going to look at, right away, this. Yeah, let's go in right away to this if we could. I'm talking about, of course, the Age of the Primes Star Convoy, new image Star Convoy. Interestingly, he's not that bigger than Omega Prime. I would say about 3 inches. Omega Prime seems to be about 12, 13 inches. I would say the new guy's about 15 inches. Yeah, that seems about right. Looks good, looks beefy. I do feel like with the light that's used here, the red doesn't look as drab and washed out, and the gold looks more gold than some of the pictures we've seen before. You can see him there next to 4Max, obviously. I mean, both of these are Titans. Like, let's just stop and think about this for a second. So in Canada, and I can't speak for what it is in the States because I don't know. In Canada, the original Fort Max, Titans Return Fort Max, was $179.99. When he got reissued this year, or well, I guess December, so last year, I think he was $279 Canadian. The Omega Prime is, depending on where you're buying them from, $199 to $209. I mean, you're looking at 70 to 80 bucks in the difference, and you're saying both of these are Titan. I'm struggling. I think we need to either have Titan be actual Titan at a competitive price, or maybe we need to stop calling that size class Titan and retire Titan and go back to Supreme class, which I'm not angry about. I'm not angry about the cheaper price or anything for the Omega Prime, or for, sorry, 4-star Convoy. I just don't know if Titan is the correct term to use for it. I also find it very strange that, like, look at this. There's no way that Predaking is bigger than Star Convoy. It's just not accurate at all. I like the Titan class Predaking. I thought it was an all right version of Predaking. I understand why people enjoyed it, but it's so wildly out of scale to anything. Anything. And even if you say, well, what about that Devastator? That Devastator was explicitly meant to be these gigantic, ginormous industrial trucks. At the end of the day, this is still 5 animals. Even if they're big animals, they wouldn't be that big. It wouldn't be that big. So I don't know. But I think it looks good. I think even the little Rodimus looks good. I mean, fairly impressive articulation and stuff. But you know what I still haven't really seen? A deep knee bend. Every time I see him with his knees bent, it's always just a little bend, a part bend. I'd like to see what the full range is that it's able to go, because I feel like it's going to have a limit there because of how chunky the leg is. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't have it in hand, so I don't know. We don't need to do that. We need to do that because we knew all of those pre-orders. We talked about this last week. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to check it with you guys. I think it's the last. I think that's the last news. Bits of news left on this page, but let's do that. 3 bits of news. Sorry, and then I'll check it with you guys. The multi-pack, we talked about it. We made some guesses. I said that because the Ultra Magnus was a deluxe, it's probably going to be a white version of the Optimus that was in Legacy United. Indeed, it is. When 86 Bumblebee came out, I said to each and every person, it's not Bumblebee. It's Bumper. Like, it's squared off like Bumper. It could be Bumper, possibly a hubcap, but it's 100% not Bumblebee. And wouldn't you know it, we're getting Bumper. It's a great mold. I reviewed the 86. It's a wonderful little mold, honestly. I think for Bumper, they really should have redone the front of the vehicle because that Volkswagen curved front is inaccurate. I think they should have made the forearms black because his entire arm is supposed to be black. So a little bit lazy with what they did there as far as I'm concerned. Horrible. Would love to have it. And I was wondering what the Nemesis Prime would be. Yes, Voyager. Animated Nemesis Prime. With the masked face sculpt, by the way. I mean, the only one I would want from this pack is horrible. I got no use for the others because I actually have a 3D printed head that's on one of the bodies. Actually, it's on a Bumblebee body from last year's 4-pack. One of the, like, Worlds Collide or whatever it was. And it was a 3D printed head that I put on that Bumblebee body. This is an actual head on an actual Bumblebee body as well. So, I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, I have a Nemesis Prime. I don't need an animated one. I don't like the white Ultra Magnus. Though, I will say this. If your Ultra Magnus of choice is the 86, this is a great way to have the smaller white cab if you want it. The reason I don't want the white cab is because my Ultra Magnus is the Combiner Wars one, upgraded with the KBB Core Fighter, or the Perfect Effect Core Fighter, if you will. So, like, my cab of my Combiner Wars Magnus already turns into the small truck, so I don't really need it. And for those saying, yeah, but the Combiner Wars Ultra Magnus isn't as good as the 86, that's fair. But I also have the X2 Toys upgrade kit on him. So like he has ankle tilt and he had replacement hands that are articulated and stuff. So, you know, he got amped up a lot, right? Is this a good pack? Yes. If you like the molds, absolutely a great pack. All four of these molds, no doubt, good. I think it's interesting they're using the Skull Cruncher for Horrible. I would love the Horrible. If somebody wanted to like split a pack and take all the other three, I would be in for a Horrible. That said, I'm getting back into this. That's not the only thing that we have revealed that I thought was cool, but that I don't really need. We also had a bunch of things. So this is Wheeljack. I love Wheeljack. We all know my boy is Jackie. And I love this one. I think he looks tremendous. I really do. And when I saw it at first, I was like, I don't really get it. Why is there two little white lines down on his tummy? Where's the red around the like upper part like it should be? A la, for example, I'll spit this out in a second, 5-pack version. Or even a la the Earthrise version. Or any other version. Why are there two red lines down there? And then I realized that this is based on Transformers Devastation, which means he doesn't have any numbers on the side of his car. The green is a little bit different. The red is a little bit different. But you know what? What an excellent, excellent version of this. I also like right there. You can probably tell there's a white line. That's not part of a frame. That's cell shading on the window, which I think looks really good. Not a lot of images here, but we will see some more of the images later, and I'll talk about the deco then. This, of course, is the Earthrise Sideswipe, given a deco for Devastation. You'll notice on his feet, we now have silver instead of white. You'll also notice his headlights have a lot more white to them than the Earthrise version that just had the little slits painted white because of how the headlights would actually work. This is interesting, and I think it's okay to have it white. But there's something about it I find jarring in car mode. So we'll see that in just a little bit too. A redeco of the War for Cybertron Optimus Prime. This time his windows are black. I think you'll probably have some tweaks to the red and blue shades, but he's not totally different. And apparently a redeco of the War for Cybertron Megatron. Again, you're probably going to have to cut those silly little tabs off the back of his leg. I don't know what's really redecoed here, to be honest with you, from the original. But I think the fusion cannon might be more gunmetal gray than a solid black. I compared images of the new one to the original. I'm not sure what's redecoed. Time will tell. I am certain about it. And the last piece of news on this particular page is the first piece of news that we're going to cover from Newage. We'll see some more a little later on. But they basically showed off their hoist. This is an adaptation of their Trailbreaker mold. I don't think this surprised anyone. There's definitely some differences here, some things that are new, unique. The head of Autobot Spike or, Autobot X, if you will. I love this. I love that he comes with, two different hands besides the closed ones he has on. He also, of course, has his blaster. As we always know, he has a tool that can go in there. I like the accessories. I love the green that they use for him as well. Love the alt mode. I think it looks really good. It's an excellent little version. Obviously, he's Legends. It's Newage, so it's small. But how impressive, really. Really, really impressive. And, of course, you can see him there with a couple of more of his buddies. He's slightly shorter, as he should be. Bigger than Power Glide, though. Newage is just, they're so special with the things that they do. Really, really impressive. I got to say, really, really impressive. Okay, I'm just going to back here. A lot of this we're going to be able to skip, by the way. Like, for example, like these pre-orders and stuff. Like, I don't really, I guess I could. I guess I will take a second to go in here and just show this. Because these show some of the deco stuff I was talking about. Again, the vehicle mode's there. See, like, that's obviously bumper, but you got to do something about that front. I love the Horrible. Really, really do. I hate that he's in this multi-pack. The Prime looks good, but again, I feel like the red and the blues are tweaked a little bit as well as the black on the chest. Right? But he looks good. He really, really does look good. There's no doubt about it. going through. Like I look at the Megatron, I feel like the fusion cannon might have more sheen or shine on it, or maybe it's cell shaded or something. But like other than that, I'm really not sure what's redecoed on them. Maybe you guys know, can say in the chat. But right now, I'm just not really seeing it. And sideswipe. So this is what I want to talk about. That's why I went in here. Look at the headlights. So I'm okay with all the white around the actual headlight area. But I do wonder, why are these like streaks here and here? I find that very jarring. I think I would use some rubbing alcohol and get rid of those streaks. I love the very vibrant Autobot logo on his chest. And I like the silver toes, even though mine has the white for cartoon accuracy. Now, when we get to Carmo, though, then I kind of understand why we have the streaks coming back here, because it's the light kind of coming back over the cars. He's going so fast. And I really love the way the cell shading was done here. Really, really beautiful cell shading, I gotta say. If you missed, like G1 versions, cartoon accurate versions of these before, these will really fill the bill for that nicely, honestly. Very, very nicely. Same with the Wheeljack. See, this is what I was talking about. Like the green is definitely a bit different, as is the red. Like the deco's a bit different. No numbers on the side. But still, a very slick look to Wheeljack. And not for nothing, but like the robot mode is very G1. Daryl said that he really liked the gray instead of the black too. So I understand the appeal here for sure. I didn't get it quite at first. And again, the cell shading right here, same on the other side. I love that it's not a bar there. That's cell shading on the wraparound windshield, which I think is really cool too. Yeah, so they're great. Okay, let's check in with you guys. Before we go into Kang toys here, let's check in with you guys. I know I'm missing a bunch of stuff, and I apologize. And I know I'm going to skip over some stuff, so I apologize again. I think it was around here. Galvatron, Universe Galvatron coming, baby, says Franzese. As someone new, I'm pre-ordering that straight away. G2 Motormaster, he's the only one left. That Jetfire looks amazing. They need to do a Commander class Delta Magnus. Maybe. I could see that. Yeah, I could see him doing a Delta Magnus. I can see the appeal of that for sure. I want Ruination. Proper RID Scourge would probably have to be Commander. That's what I was thinking too, honestly, Franzese. I'd love to see a line of figures based on the new comic. The Skybound stuff. Yeah, I'm sure that's going to come. I have no doubt. But that's a very unique design. And actually, Mark Maher was also asked about that. And he was like, yeah, you really want those designs to very much match the aesthetic there, right? So I'm sure that that's going to come eventually. I'm sad that we got a third-party Optimus with a Mega Arm instead of arm several times over. Yeah, I'm sure that that's gonna make its way though. They'll get there. They'll get there. Please don't ban me. I know it was sarcasm about the Universe Galvatron. Don't worry, Franzese. Hey, dead guy. Don't ruin the Bayverse designs. I mean, that depends on if you like the Bayverse designs. You're saying, ooh. I mean, a lot of people, not for nothing, not me. I want my Blackout to look like the movie Blackout, right? Personally. But a lot of people don't like those very alien-esque designs. So I don't know. I wouldn't say ooh to it though. You might start a rampage. Not for me, but you might start a rampage. Universe Galvatron should be a Voyager-sized figure. Absolutely. That was the original intent. Why it got downsized to a deluxe, I don't know. We need a Chug Stinger. Probably. Although I like the Studio Series one that we got, but I wouldn't be angry about a Stinger. If you're going to do G1 Bayverse, make redecos of the figures in G1 colors, because that looks cool. I could get behind that. I think, though, if you're going to do it in a G1 style, you're going to have to redo the head sculpts. I'd say keep the body, but you're going to have to redo the head sculpt. Like, for example, I think it'd be cool to keep the body of, say, I don't know, Age of Extinction, or was it Last Night? I think it was last night. Barricade, the later Barricade. Like, for example, you could take that body, which I think is already very G1-esque, and if you didn't like the head of that version of Barricade, you could always take a head similar to the one that came on the Dominus Pursuit pack and put it on that body. I'd be cool with that too. I still have my Unite Warriors Superior Bruticus on my combiner shelf. They were great. Both of those were really great, especially the Superior. Man, did he look beautiful. I feel Bruticus isn't going to have frame legs. I guess time will tell. Apparently, the Bruticus will be a traditional combiner. Maybe you already said that. I can't see it, though, because the... I can't see that Cosmos Prime or Daniel, because the Vortex splits. It's your new style arm. It's not a traditional Combiner Wars style arm. Toy World should have come out with their Combiner Wars upgrade torsos. Yes, they were going to do a version of Motormaster and a version of Onslaught. They should have done them. I agree 100%. Sticking with Combiner Wars Motormaster, as I see it as a Studio Series Gamer Edition Motormaster, that's fair. Why the Voyager price for Swindle and Brawl if it's going to be a frame leg? I don't know, because Hasbro likes to rip people off. I keep saying this. They're not on your side. They're a company looking to take your money. Don't think that they're out to be your best friend. Don't think that they're like, oh, whatever the fans say. They're out to take your money. It is what it is. And I'm not angry about it, but it is what it is. I think Bruticus will use the skeleton arms. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. G1 designs work really only with flashy 80s colors, not the super realistic colors of Bayverse. No, you're not right. You're not right there at all. There's a lot of dark G1 figures, and their designs are great. Case in point, Slugslinger should be a very dark blue, and it looks gorgeous on him. I don't agree with that, man. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with you there at all. You must have grown up on Bayverse, did you? Because you're talking like a person that grew up on Bayverse. Mail away, not mail away, made to order. I wish they would re-release the G1 Micromasters. Yes, because the G1 Micromasters were much better. If someone needs a star scream for the 2 seconds after Galvatron blasted him and he wasn't turned to dust. Thunderwing, Black Shadow Broadside. I don't know why you're saying Thunderwing, Black Shadow Broadside, but okay. I don't even know where you buy flying stands. Nah, neither do I. I don't know anything about flying stands. The Hasbro guys are probably scared to death of violating a non-disclosure agreement. I would say you're right about that as well, Daniel. Got to notice that my Star Convoy should be shipping soon. Good. I hope you enjoy it. I'm still on the fence because I have the Selects one, so I don't know. I don't know. I can't wait to see what you think of it, Frenzies. I'm hoping for a Thunder Clash. Yes, I would like a Thunder Clash. You know, corporations and Hasbro are the company to hold against the guys on camera to intimidate them. Probably. I don't know if they're intimidating them, but it's probably their contract. You can only say so many things, right? Fort Max re-release. It already happened, HoloNet. Like, I don't know how you missed it. It came out in December. It was all last year up on pre-order, like everywhere. You could probably still find some around. I want to say BBTS still has it for 160 US. I want to say that. So if you're saying it like, I don't know. Now, if you mean the G1, I wouldn't hold my breath, and if so, it'd be a lot of money. Brave Max, I think they should do a Brave Max as well. Absolutely agree. Star Convoy does more transforming than Fort Max does, but yeah, they should have just bought Supreme Class back. No, what do you mean he does more transforming? No, he doesn't. I don't know where you're getting that from, but okay. But yeah, they should just call it Supreme Class. You can't talk about pre-COVID prices. It's not relative. We all got price gouged then on everything. I can talk pre-COVID prices because COVID had zero to do with the price increases here. Maybe they did wherever you live, but the price increases here in Canada started unreasonably with Siege in January of 2019, long before there was a COVID thing that affected anything. So no, I absolutely can talk about it because they started to get really unreasonable in 2019. If they didn't where you live, cool, but they did here. I'm tempted to get Star Convoy. Me too, but I have the Selects and I like it, so I don't know. Unless we get a time machine and change the Laws, higher prices are just the reality. No, they're not a reality if people don't support it. What part of consumers have all of the power? Stop buying things at higher prices. And it, as if by magic, you'll see that their prices will go down. People gotta really understand their consumer power, and they don't, man. People need to get over it or stop voting conservative. Man, Matthew, let it go. You keep saying the same thing over. Let it go. The problem existed before COVID, man. Star Convoy looks nice, but not really. Tossing that cash for it. I think he's worth the price, but why did they make the Revenge of the Fallen multi-pack Yoga, Soundwave, and the Fallen? I don't think it's anything wrong with the Fallen. The Fallen is the Studio Series one, which is a great mold. But I with the Soundwave, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why they use that Soundwave. Yeah, Force Battle. Yeah, Force Battle would have been a cool one to do. With the Devastation line, they have to do a Devastator. But is it going to be the 86 Devastator, or would it be another release of Combined Wars? But he's too big. No. If they're going to do Devastator for Devastation, I think they would do the 86. They would definitely have to give him those hands with the drills for sure. I really hate you have to buy a 4-pack to get one figure. It really pisses me off. Me too. I detest these multi-packs where they have these crap repaints for one that you want. It really gets on my nerves. Even though Mark Maher says it's really cool. That being said, I actually want everything from the 4-pack for once. Well, I hope then that you're happy with it and you get it. If you want it all, get it. Listen, my frame of thought is if you want more than one, if you want at least two, if you want at least 50% of the pack, then it's worth it. If you only want one and you can only justify kind of one, it's a hard sell, man. I'm into the Nemesis of Magnus. I don't have the animated Prime mold, so this would be a good way for me to get it. That's fair if you want the animated Prime mold. I'll take that hubcap, bumper, to make my OC back attacker. Okay, back attacker, hack attacker. Hey Daniel, where I get two of them instead of 2-pack? That's my opinion. You do them as 2-packs, you mean? Maybe. Horrible is nice. I call dibs on hubcap. It's like trying to get a. It's not hubcap. It's bumper. It's like trying to get a complete Insecticon set. One of them is in a 4-pack. Ransack. The deluxe Insecticons. I mean, you had Barrage and Chop Chop in a 2-pack for the Mayhem Attack Squadron thing. Well, 3-pack really. With the little hammer lad, Malleus Minotaurus. I think that was his name. But yeah, I mean, Ransack was in a 4-pack, and now we're getting Venom. And Venom is the only one who's an individual release. It's so weird. I'm getting Gamer Edition Prime and Meg since I missed on those when they came out. Missed opportunity to give that Sideswipe the blades he had in the game. I agree. Master Fire, 100% with that. Well, it's Studio Series. In the one thing Studio Series is known for is lack of paint. That's fair. The Sideswipe mold absolutely will not die. Well, it's not the Siege mold. It's the Earthrise mold. So it's a little bit different. But I get what you're saying, though. I might get the Devastation Wheeljack. The Sideswipe would be so much better if it was the colors on the box. Maybe. The repack of Wheeljack and Sideswipe, I call them Studio Series Gamer Edition. Well, I mean, they kind of are, but those subtitles aren't a thing anymore. Like, 86 isn't really a thing anymore. Gamer Edition isn't really a thing anymore. It seems to all be now Studio Series MTE, like more than meets the eye. Like, it seems like that's the umbrella now for whatever reason. Bayverse Sideswipe and G1 color with a jetpack. No, thank you. No, thank you. I don't like that design that much. Nothing against it. It's just I don't see. There's nothing about it that's Sideswipe. It's not Sideswipe. Great design, fine character, but that's my problem with it. It's nothing about it that's Sideswipe. The Siege Sideswipe mold is the William Afton from FMA. I don't know what any of that means, but okay. That is not about X-Head. Absolutely it is. I want 86 Magnus, but I can't find it for a good price. You're not going to because it's hard to find. But again, that's been reissued or getting reissued. I think a lot of places are sold out, but like it's hard to complain about Magnus because it's twice he's been released now already. So I don't know. I'm surprised he hasn't had a KO, honestly. And yesterday was All Might's birthday. I don't know who's All Might. I don't know what you guys talk about sometimes. I think someone said the paint on the mace was a bit different. Maybe. That's the reflection of the light. The white on Sideswipe is there because that's how the headlights were shaped in Devastation. They were just too lazy to remold them. Were the headlights shaped back in Devastation? Is that what it is? Because if so, because it looks like it's lightly applied. I'm cool. I understand. And I knew in Devastation that the white down under was supposed to be there. So I'm cool with that. I'm fine with that. But the part going back, I don't know if that's supposed to be there or not. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm misremembering. Fangre's supposed to be getting an individual release. Hopefully they will do the same with Ransack. Hopefully they'll do the same with Horrible as well. I still have to call him by his original name, Bumble Jumper. That's fair too. Even though, again, most people now just call him Bumper, but why not call him Bumble Jumper? Go for it. Kingdom Sideswipe, can't blame you for the mix-up. Anthony says, I heard there will be a new Punch, Counterpunch, looking about 2026-ish. Well, it's not in any of the leaks or listings for 2026, 2027, so whoever told you that's probably wrong. And I doubt that they would redo it. If anything, they might reissue the one that they did again. But I can't say I've heard anything from any source about that. At least not yet. With all the re-releases, I really hope they re-release Ironhide. I agree. I think that the SS Ironhide is far overdue, and he is infinitely better than the NPM. Infinitely better. The SS Ironhide I reviewed, and it was fantastic. Still is fantastic. Mainly Bayverse fan because they just look so cool. I mean, to each their own. That's all I'm going to say. I got Earthspark Soundwave. Yeah. Okay. So let's kind of go on here because I got to get through the rest of this stuff, and we're getting close-ish to being tight on time. Okay, so this is a chug scale. We looked at, I think, Swoop last week. This is chug scale version of Sludge. Again, I wouldn't look at this and recognize it as Sludge. I'm going to say the same thing I said about Swoop. If you prefer these designs over the Hasbro and you want a mainline sized version of Volcanicus, I mean, go for this. But you've got to be real cool with it being super stylized. Like, even with this alt mode, I wouldn't recognize this as a Brontosaurus. I'm not even sure I'd recognize it as an Apatosaurus. I just don't see this. I don't see it. I don't know. I respected this. I've said this about Kang all along. Like, there's a lot going on here. I respect the design. It's very visually interesting. It's very visually engaging. It drags your eye to it. But I feel like they probably should have just given them their own unique names because I don't really see the Dinobots in them that much. Just like I didn't really see the Predacons in there that much. But I'll say this, and I said it with Swoop as well. Let's see them with colors because maybe that will help things. That was the interview. Apparently, Heatwave and Skybite are out in Canada. I've been seen at a Walmart in Ontario, along with the Wave 2 Deluxes of Alchemist and Crasher, I think, and Vortex. So I haven't seen them. Not at my Walmarts. Check today. So they're not here. YOLO Park doing some Beast merch. This is a bit different for YOLO Park. Doing things like keychains, like acrylic keychains and, little stickers and stands, stuff like magnets for Transformers 1 and Rise of the Beasts. I don't know. Weird for YOLO Park to do these. I guess it looks okay if you're into some Transformers merch. I do like the keychains. I gotta say, I do like the keychains. And the magnets are okay. I'd throw those on the fridge. You know, put up, I don't know, kids' drawings or something or whatever. I don't know. It's just merch. Jack Lawrence will be at TF Nation 2025. We had some images. I'm not really going to go into this because there are reviews and everything now up for the Spinister and Top Spin 2-pack. Some people have said that they find the knees of the Top Spin to be loose or looser than the original. I don't know about that. I don't have it. By the way, and I've never really mentioned this before because I wasn't sure, but this Spinister, by the way, is his coloration is based on his comic book appearance rather than the Siege Spinister, which is based on the G1 toy appearance, and of course the War for Cybertron trilogy cartoon on Netflix. So this is the comic book version. Again, excellent mold. You don't lose getting this. You might say, "Oh, I wish I had the other color," but this is the same sort of thing as going with the Galvatrons. The same sort of thing as the Slug Slingers. It's just a matter of which color is it that you like the best, because the molds are tremendous. Let's go up here a little bit. Oh, by the way, Nation announced their Minicon will be in November. In fact, the 2nd. So if you're going to TF Nation and you want to go back for their Minicon in November, I don't know, go for it, I guess. I'm going to fly through this and I'll get it back with you guys because I really want to get through the news. And I got very, very distracted with some of our conversation. So this is also the other New Age news that I wanted to cover. An interesting adaptation here of the the Trailbreaker mold for animated Ratchet. And I think it's very successful. I think it works. I think it's really clean. I like this for Ratchet. And I think the alt mode is all right. I think it's an interesting way to go. I don't hate this at all. I think it's pretty cool, well articulated. This is, is it Scorch? Is that his name? Cannonball. Yeah, Scorch. Yeah, Turbo Master Scorch. And you know what? If you look up Scorch and you come back and you look at this, I would never think of using a Trailbreaker for Scorch, but this isn't bad for accurate, honestly. If you look the actual Scorch up, this isn't too bad. Yeah, a little bit stylized, but it's definitely recognizable as Scorch, no doubt about it. Very out of left field, Turbo Masters. Who saw that coming in 2025? Transformers 1 streaming now in Latin America in both English and Spanish. Worth noting that in Brazil, it's also available in Portuguese. We have some more images of the Studio Series Age version of Widowmaker. I'm 100% in for this. I love this. I know it does not actually look like the concept art, but man, do I think she looks cool and sinister. I love her vicious head sculpt. Great design. Great design. Really, really like this. Somebody said that they could see this being reused as a Prime knockout. Absolutely could see it. I think it would work for knockout as well. 25th anniversary. They got a thing going on at TFCon Chicago. So I'm going to check it out if you're going to TFCon, I guess. Age of the Primes. Okay, so I'm not going to go into the pictures here. We're going to see them a little bit later. Same here. This is just Mark Maher talking about more of the design stuff. No real surprises. Nothing really said. Just he shows stuff off. And what's Blast Effects compatible and that sort of stuff. Same here. I'm not going to go in here because we're going to see it in just a little bit. But this is the Selects 2-pack, a Commander class value with 2 Leader class offerings in it, being the G2 Slug, or Slag if you prefer, and Snarl. A lot of people didn't get the Snarl. If you're cool with not having the G1 colors, then this is a great opportunity to get the Dinobots if you missed them first time around. Some people prefer the G2 colors. Some people, for example, picked up the blue Age of Extinction Grimlock and said, this is the color I wanted. Get this. Word is that we're also going to get a G2 version of Swoop and a G2 version of Sludge. So if you're gone in on Grimlock, man, if you're in for a penny, you might as well be in for a pound. This is a great way to have 3 of them done. And I believe I heard that the Swoop and the Sludge will also be done as a Commander Class 2-pack. I'm not sure about that, but I feel like I heard that. Great way to get the Dinobots off your list. I have the G1 colors because that's what speaks to me. But nothing wrong with these. Seiko doing a, I think it's a Megatron watch, if I'm not mistaken, for the 40th anniversary. Looks pretty cool. Looks pretty good. $410 US, though. Limited to 300 pieces. Fancy watch. Expensive watch. The Indiglo here is what I always call it. Really good. I love the letter. Well made, no doubt about it. Seiko is a good name, no doubt about it. You know, it is a nice timepiece, right? It does have a presence, no doubt about it. But $410 is a steep price, buddy. Steep price, if you ask me. And I think that this is our last page of news here now. Yes. Again, a lot of stuff was shown. I'm just going to go in here very quickly because we're going to see the other stuff in a little bit. And I'm actually not going to waste my time on the Age of the Prime stuff. And I'm not going to really waste my time on the, the Amazon stuff, that exclusive, or the 2-pack Amazon stuff. But I will, here we go. I will do this one because I don't think that I saw pictures for this. So, of course, this is the pack. And funny enough, Starscream Wife not long ago got me that Soundwave thrifting for like $3. Yeah, it wasn't quite complete, but it was close enough that I was able to do what I had to do. It didn't have the stand that it goes on. And it was missing one of the little rib pieces. But I said it when I done the review, I was okay with her spending $3 on it. But if I spend $40, because that's what a deluxe is here now, if I spent $40 on that Soundwave, I'd be livid. I would be enraged. The Fallen is the Studio Series version. Granted, if you already own the Studio Series version, then you don't really need this, do you? But the Studio Series version is known to be quite good. And I'm pretty sure the Megatron is a recolor of the Studio Series 13 or 31, if you prefer, which I did review. In fact, I think I reviewed both of them. And I used that mold as my custom Violent Jiger, as a matter of fact. Great mold. Love this Megatron. Excellent mold. Yeah, I mean, weird Soundwave. You know, where the Fallen is really good. Yeah, they must have had those left over. That's probably why he's in the pack. The Fallen looks great. No spring-loaded feet, you know. The Megatron looks great. I think the Megatron looks better here than the mainline release. They definitely added to the paint deco for sure. So we will come back out of that, but I wanted to just show that. Oh, and I guess I'll show this. Speaking of Grimlock, like that looks great together. I'm not into the G2 Dinobots. G2 was after my time, but like if you are, or if you're like, man, I missed out on the Studio Series first time around, like, get these. This is a great way to get them, and they're great molds. They're fun. They're really fun. I love the Dinobots. I see no reason to ever get any other set of Dinobots. In fact, the Grimlock is better than the MP. And before everybody says, no, it's not. Yes, it is. Much better than the MP, as a matter of fact. And I've reviewed and handled both. Okay. So I'm not going through links or videos here, but let's very quickly run through this. So, of course, this is going to be Fireflight. Pretty good. Not a perfect rendition of the plane because, of course, this is a reuse of the slingshot, right? Obviously a reuse of the slingshot. The canopy of the plane should be a little higher. The back should be down a little flatter, but this isn't bad. The deco is very G1 cartoon accurate. I feel like there's too much red here. I feel like there should be more white. I understand for the plane why you need all the red. I get it, but there's just something here a little off-putting about the red. That said, when you compare it to the animation model, like this is very accurate. Very accurate. Right down to the blue there, to the chest detailing. Granted, there should be an Autobot logo on this side. But this is not bad at all if you're in for this Superion. The more interesting guy, I think, is Skydive. Skydive is obviously a reuse of Air Raid, but there's some remolding here for the plane, like the wings and stuff, for example, here, right? So I think that the remolded pieces on Skydive are enough that, like, I feel like when I look at Fireflight, I see an awful lot of Slingshot, but I don't have that same feeling here. I feel like this looks more like his own mold, except for the front of the legs, the way that they flip up. That's obviously from Air Raid, but like, yeah, I don't get strong Air Raid vibes from this. I get strong Skydive vibes. I think it's a good Skydive. I mean, you got both of the boys here again. If you don't mind the green and you don't mind the rusty red, I suppose, like there's nothing wrong with this. Have them in your collection. Have them in your collection. I particularly love Snarl. I think he's great. Although I really like, you know what? I'm going to say this. I love this guy, but some people say that they broke the little frill pieces. Some people say that they actually took them off and he transforms easier with it. I love this mold, but some people have some gripes with the transformation. I don't, and I don't understand at all how people have broken things like the little frill pieces. I'm in love with this. I absolutely am in love with this mold. Cannot wait to get Onyx Prime. 100 billion% in on him. Then we got this guy. I wasn't sure what to think of Alpha Trion. I think that this is A3. Not young A3, like middle-aged. Like, he's not quite all the way to being Alpha Trion yet, but, this is probably toward the end of having the rebellion and stuff that he led, right? Interesting, he has an Autobot logo. More interesting that Autobot logo can come off of his tummy. I love that he comes with the quill and the Covenant of Primus. I like this. It is not going to replace my old man Alpha Trion from the Heroes Born set. I think that's a perfect Alpha Trion. I think that this mold, somebody asked, do you think that this will get a different head sculpt and be redone as Old Man Alpha Trion? Yes, I absolutely think that that's going to happen somewhere down the line in a multi-pack or something like that. Might even be given a cape. But I absolutely see that coming. This is a weird alt mode, but again, as with all the primes, he didn't need one because they didn't have alt modes back then. See, Covenant of Primus, Quill. Covenant of Primus, like the actual Covenant of Primus was written. And basically, what Alpha Trion writes is what happens, right? Like, the Quill gives the ability to write the narrative, to write the story, to write what it is that happens, right? It's a very powerful artifact. I'm not angry about him at all, but I think you're going to get a lot of people disappointed he doesn't have his long beard. Other than that, I think people are going to love it. This is weird. This is so weird. Mark Maher said, look, I wanted to give him a one-wheeled motorcycle. This was the place to do it. Now, I originally, when this was first shown, much like Daryl was like, no, I don't. How is this my Cronus? And then I realized, no. This is an early version of Pretender technology. Now, if you want to revisit Pretenders, as our buddy Matt likes to say, where you got to have the shell stuff, this is the only way to do it. The shell has to be fully articulated, and you would have to have the Pretender be teeny tiny to fit in the actual torso. If you prefer that, cool. I wouldn't prefer that myself. But I'll say this. I do like that you can take out the little disc, and that's my Cronus. And when I saw the little disc, and I saw it transformed into my Cronus, I was like, that looks like RID, my Cronus. That looks like the lad that I know. And I get that RID, my Cronus, had an exosuit, but it didn't look like this exosuit as far as I'm concerned. I'm okay with this being an exosuit for him, though. I don't have a problem with it. I love that we have that's my Cronus proper. The exosuit is neat. I think if we still had core class, You could have just released my Cronus proper as a core class. Am I angry about the exosuit? No. Am I excited about it? No, because it seems kind of dumpy, frumpy, and I'm not. Mark Maher said he tweaked the coloring and the design a bit from the RID exosuit. I don't think he did a great job. But I respect that we have a lot of articulation here. And I also respect that my Cronus, comparative to the other primes, should probably be the smallest. It is what it is. Because the exosuit is an early pretender technology, while he's always been seen as the prime of minicons and micromasters, probably the prime of pretenders as well. Very interesting. Love this. Thought it was just going to be a Waspinator reuse. It's not. Can't wait for Venom. I never in a billion years would have seen myself in or interested in or collecting deluxe Insecticons. I got the Ransack. I was like, yeah, okay, cool, I guess, because I wanted that gold bug. Cool, I guess, that he's in there. Neat. I'm sure I'll have a Ransack. I'll put him with my Insecticons. Because who doesn't like a swarm of Insecticons? But here we go, fast forward then, and you got the 2-pack. Wait, now we have a Barrage and we have a Chop Shop. Are we going to get a Venom? And we do. I mean, I have the smaller Legends Insecticons. I have the main trio in Legacy, and now I have all 4 of the deluxe ones. I never saw it coming. Really happy for it. Love the look of this guy. Very excited for him, I gotta say, and excited for this. So I skipped, of course, on the Armada Red Alert because Armada is not my thing. I don't know the character that well. I just no. But I've always said that the Decepticons need to have some sort of a doctor figure. And granted, they have Knockout, who is, by designation, a medic, but they need more because the Autobot's got a lot to repair him. And some people point to Shockwave. I think he's more mad scientist than anything else. Enter Flatline. Now, granted, Flatline's a bit of a mad scientist too. Granted, in some of his fiction, he will kind of leave the Decepticons. And granted, in some of his fiction, he is seen much like the Ratchet from the War for Cybertron series, where he's a doctor first, and regardless of your faction affiliation, if you're injured, he will take care of you. That's the version of Flatline I intend for him to be. I've been very intrigued by this mold, and I've seen it, and I've been like, that seems like a nice, bulky, hefty, big Voyager. I'm 100% in for this, because it's my excuse to get this mold, as somebody mentioned earlier with one of the other molds. Really, really like this. Love the alt mode. Really, really dig it. I got to say, love the sinister head sculpt. Absolutely in for it. We have this guy, right? Or these guys, I should say. By the way, looking at this, the floor of the cage on regular release is gray. Here it's black. Otherwise, all of this deco, same thing. Same thing as what we already have. All of this deco, same thing as what we already have. This deco, certainly much darker than this guy, right? Than Slugslinger here. It comes with the head. I don't understand why they didn't throw Caliburst in here. And when I say Caliburst, I don't mean the head. I mean, why didn't you throw the Target Master in there? I don't get that. You had an opportunity to do it. I also think that this whitey gray is a bit different than the one that's on there as well. By the by, if you don't know, the head doesn't go in either of the 2 cockpits. There's a section on the back that opens up, and that's where the head goes in this alt mode. Then we get to this one. When we get here for Sandstorm, the only difference is that the hands are black instead of gray, and the head now has a face to it. But I still don't feel like it's the face for the G1. Like, I get that it is the face for G1, but something about the sculpt seems slightly off to me. It's painted silver. It's cool. There is a head done or being done by the same people that done that Cup head, that done the Kingdom Rodimus Prime head. They're doing a head for this guy too that I think looks super accurate. I'd love to have this coloration of Slugslinger. Like I said at the beginning, I would trade this toy accurate Slugslinger for that Slugslinger. If somebody was like, oh yeah, I'd really like a toy accurate Slugslinger. Man, you could have mine if you want to give me your cartoon accurate one. I'd probably even trade if you wanted a toy accurate Sandstorm. I mean, I'm cool with trading my Sandstorm too. You can have that. I'd be cool with that if somebody wanted to trade that. But I think it's good. I think it's good that it's getting a reissue. Oh, they did show it here. I stand corrected. I didn't think it was in here. And I think that's it, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is. So we go out, we go up. Here, that's just some of the behind the scenes stuff. People in the UK, your Omega Prime should be coming soon. Oh, I got to go down to the one piece of news that I missed. Two piece. E-Hobby doing more merch, more of those acrylic stands. This time we have super deformed versions of Optimus and Deadlock and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, there's also acrylic stands for Maximal and Predacon symbols. Who is it? Soundwave Drift, Optimus Prime with Matrix, Deadlock, and Optimus Prime. I mean, here's the Optimus Prime with Matrix done in this like chibi, super deformed style. The Mochi bots plushes. We've seen the plushes before. These are more promotional for Wave 4, which of course we've already seen. It'll be Shatterglass, Soundwave, regular Soundwave, Shockwave, and the version of Mirage that called Facade. And then we have this. This is the inbox images that this dude has. I'm sure it's all on the up and up, no doubt. And some people have been asking, looking at his lower legs don't seem to have that blue. They could do a running change. That's possible. Hasbro's not usually known for that. The images on the back do not have that bluish color, but neither did Springer, as I recall. And Siege Springer definitely uses that bluish gray on his legs. I think that these legs still look blue, honestly. And I think if Hasbro doesn't do a change before this is mass produced and changes that color out, I think that they're ruining the sales of this figure. I think a lot of people will be turned off by that gray. I really, really do. I seriously do. I think I think you can look past the inaccurate fusion cannon. I think a lot of people will even look past the tank, especially since he comes with the little pistol version of himself. But when you throw in the inaccurate fusion cannon, you throw in the tank mode that people already have a problem with, and then you miscolor the legs, I think you're going to have a lot of people be like, yeah, pass, or I'm just going to get the Takara. And if Takara shows theirs off, other than the promotional images, and again, the legs aren't accurate, I think that they're going to be shooting themselves, pardon the pun, I think they're going to be shooting themselves in the foot. If the legs aren't going to be accurate, it's not going to dethrone my hegemon, because I'll still say he's more accurately colored. So we'll see. We'll see as time goes on. But that, my friends, for the news. And I know I've missed a lot of stuff. I'm only going to check very quickly because I got to get out of here, man. I love the blue better. I just need to get a sword for him. Heard Latin America dub for BE is a perv. I don't know. I doubt it. G2 Grimlock just hit shelves. Absolutely. 400 isn't too bad for a high-class watch like that, honestly. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's just a watch. I have many, and some of them are pretty high-end, and I promise you, none of them cost 400 US. 410 plus tax US. I can't get behind you on that, Francie. Sorry. That's a fool's game, I think. G2 Swoop and Sludge would be interesting, as I don't know if there's any indication to what the G2 colors would be for them. I agree. You guys are crazy. 410 for a watch. You're out of your mind. Yes, it's bad. Value your money more. Dude. My smartwatch that does a hell of a lot more than tell time, $25 Canadian. So no. 410, no, I'm sorry. I'm not going to get there. Need that Megatron, but don't need that Soundwave. Already got the phone. Yeah, you're like I am. You're in the same position I am, Dead, with that 4-pack where I only want horribles. You're in the same position. I get it. I get your disdain. Christmas tree slag absolutely is. This is just a repackage of the pre-existing Target exclusive 3-pack. The 3 Fallen figures. What? Do you mean the gathering at the Nemesis? No, those are 3 completely different figures from way back in the release. I don't really. These are all reissues for sure, but I don't think they were reissued together before. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're right. I don't know. Would you believe me if I said my Walmart still doesn't have Generations? Doesn't have Generations what? Anything? That would be weird. What if I use the Fallen to create one of the other Bayverse Primes? You could certainly do that too. Absolutely, you could do that. I honestly used the original Fallen as my version of Amalgamus Prime, to be honest with you. I customized them as Amalgamus. Yeah, you could do that. Absolutely could. The play modes look so blocky. If you don't have to customize them, say for insurance. What? FYI, dead guy, you don't have to customize them. Say for insurance or sell for new toys. It's up to you. I don't know what you mean there. I'm only going to get Slingshot because his G1 voice actor is going to be at a convention, and I'm going to get him to sign it. Wow, cool. I feel kind of bad for just having 2. I want to put 1 to good use, you know? Yeah, it's fair. Onyx is amazing. No doubt about it. I agree. The backpack on my Slag is a bit floppy, but otherwise he's fine. Yeah, same. My backpack's a little bit floppy, but not enough to ruin the mold for me at all. Already have Onyx pre-ordered. Not sure about Alpha Trion yet. Yeah, I made sure as soon as Onyx went up, I was like, I can't miss Onyx. I can't miss Onyx. I don't remember the last time I wanted a Transformer so bad. Alphatron's an easy buy for me. Just wish he had the beard. Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people are going to say. I think they're going to say, yeah, he's good. Wish he had the beard. And I think I'm sure there's a head sculpt that'll exist. I'm telling you, he'll come with the beard. I'm good with the beard version because I got that, the one I got. But I think you'll see this one eventually with it. Super stoked for Young Alpha. That's cool. Stick with the Thrilling 30s. Orion. What? I'll stick with the Thrilling 30s. Orion? Oh, okay. For what? There was no Orion that was revealed. I'm not sure why you brought that up, but sure, stick with the Thrilling 30 Orion. Nothing wrong with it. It's popular mold. I don't know the mold. I've never handled it, but I've heard that it's great. The Pretender thing came to mind as soon as I saw him. I thought he'd make an Apex. Well, Pretender, Apex armor, whatever. My Cronus transforms into the closest thing we're getting to a Minicon panel from Armada. So I'll take that. Yeah, you're right. Venom looks cool. I agree. Flatline is such a good name for a Decepticon ambulance. I agree. I want Flatline. Yeah, looks really sinister. The exosuit is actually the Apex armor, like from Transformers Prime. Yes, it is. You're right. The Scary Candy is the... What? Flatline looks like Scary Candy in the best way possible. Ah, yes, I get what you're saying. Slug looks super like 07 Meg's alt mode. Slug Slinger looks like 07. A little bit. I don't know if he looks a lot like it, though. You're in for a treat with Age of the Prime. Flatline the Mold is my favorite Voyager from the line so far. It really captures the chunk and heft of the Unicron trilogy while maintaining modern articulation. See, you're saying the chunk and the heft of the Unicron trilogy, like that's a good thing. I didn't like the designs of Unicron trilogy. I found them unnecessarily bulky, so I don't know. But I have been drawn to the Red Alert design, so this is a great excuse for it, and I hope you're right, Waspinator. I really do hope, because I feel like, in what I've seen of it, that it should be a really excellent mold, honestly. I would wonder what are the chances they will do a rework of Vortex as Alpha Bravo for another option for Superion. I feel like that would be a Generation Selects thing, possibly. Hey, Big M. Oh, that guy said something good. What Autobots will be in a box set? Best bet is the Wreckers and Mirage. Oddluxes so they'll be able to fit. Yeah, I can see. And you know what? Doing the Wreckers, I think, maybe even with Mirage as a box set would be good. They might. They should. Let's see. I pre-ordered the Takara Megs. Legs look lighter. Didn't even know pre-order was up for the Takara Megs yet, but okay. I don't know where you pre-ordered that from, but interesting. I feel so embarrassed that I don't hate the miscolored legs. I don't understand how you don't. It's not remotely right. They've never been blue. They're, oh my God, I find it so jarring. I mean, cool if you don't, but I find it wildly jarring. I'm not saying I'd spend that much on a watch, just from what it tends to go for. 410 is crazy for a watch. Hey, Brian. Yeah, where did you order? Oh, Amazon Japan. Brave man. I don't think I would go ordering on Amazon Japan, but okay, whatever works for you, dude. Don't sell on Temu. I don't know anything about Temu. Do you have Earthrise Megs, Dennis? No, I don't. I have the G2 version of it, though, and I didn't like the face of the Earthrise Megs. I like the head sculpt of the Siege Meg, so I just stuck with that. Hey, Brian. Okay, so let's do the trivia and the unboxing. Get out of here. Gosh, this went long. I haven't eaten supper. That's why I wanted to get out of here. But you guys are great. There was a lot again to cover this week. Okay, this one should be pretty good. I hope this one should be easy. Are we ready? Are we ready? The face was off. The face was off. What? Okay. So while we know that Micronus Prime is clever and appreciated by the other primes, he has built close relationships with 3 in particular. Which one of the following is not one of those close relationships? Is it Onyx? Is it Amalgamous? Is it Nexus? Or is it Solus? A, B, C, or D? Which one of those 4 is not super close with Micronus? 3 of them are, one of them is not. Which one is not? Is it Onyx, Amalgamous, Nexus, or Solus? A, B, C, or D? The face was off on Earthrise Megs. Yes, it was. Like it just didn't strike me. I felt like the face sculpt of the Siege one was better. Nexus, guessing A, guessing C. Onyx, A, I think. I couldn't answer this if I had 5 tries. The answer is B, Amalgamous. He was actually really close to Onyx. In fact, he considered Onyx his best friend. And he was also close to Nexus and close to Solus. We got all of that done as well. Okay, let's do the unboxing. Get out of here. Tomorrow's review. By the way, both of these things you can thank Daryl for in the chat because I don't own either of these. He does. Tomorrow's review. I can tell you now, this is not going to score well. I absolutely hate it. I absolutely detest it. And it's this Rise of the Beast Battle Trap. What a steaming pile of dog shit. It's so bad. It looks so good. It is a cool robot. It's an awful, atrocious transformation. All of this kibble on the back is just a pain in the neck. And when you go to the truck, it barely stays, like the kibble barely stays together. This one will be an adventure tomorrow. You'll see when we do it. Stand up. This one will be an adventure tomorrow. It's not, I'm not even going to say it's not going to score well. Aspects of it will score well, but aspects of it will not. Also, not for nothing, it's worth noting that Daryl's hips were terrifyingly tight until I undone the screw back here. And same with the other one. Now they're still quite tight, but nothing like they were. And that does affect the smoothness of the transformation. I will also note now, and I'll talk about it tomorrow, these shoulder pads and these spikes are terrible. They make the transformation infinitely harder. And over here, this one broke, the little piece that it's over broke right off. I've since built it up with Bondic, so it stays on and it's fine. But my advice is if you have this, don't ever, 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 ever transform it. It's awful. We'll see a full review tomorrow and some comparisons and stuff. Yeah, the answer, my guys, was B. The answer was Amalgamous. Then, and I'm excited for this, I was interested to take a look at this, and this is adorable, and it's so cute, and it is the, I think it's Zingang version of Primus. This little tiny, teeny, adorable little globe lad. This thing's great. This is a blast and a half. The plastic feels fine, maybe a little on the cheap side, but I mean, this was super duper cheap anyway. I love this whole thing. I love that you displayed as a globe. This is going to score well, and this will be Tuesday. But I'm already going to tell you now. I'm going to wet your whistle a bit. Daryl already knows this, so I don't want him to say anything. But the real interesting unboxing that I can't wait to share with you guys is going to be next week's. I'm interested about next week. And with that, my friends, we've been here forever. My goodness gracious, there was so much to cover, and you guys were really active. I love you all. Thanks for coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you are in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring. Or, of course, you can hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. While you are at it, hit the subscribe button. Stick around and have some fun with us here on the channel. And don't forget, not for a moment, not for a second, that you right there, you do make a difference in the world. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres or the old-fashioned way, right here, my friends, inside the videos. Have a great weekend. Happy Father's Day.